There are no obedience to defend Peter Obi like before again, Daddy Freeze. Last night, Daddy Freeze went live on his verified Facebook page to speak about Labour Party Mr. Peter Obi and his supporters' the obedience. Daddy Freeze said, I think there are no obedience to defend Mr. Obi like before again. I really feel like hearing the views of decent supporters of Peter Obi on why they think Peter Obi is better than Bola Tinubu, despite what the president has done in his few days in office. Speaking further, he said there are some people supporting Peter Obi who contributed to his loss in the last election. They are rude in dishing out their views about Obi to opposition members. I can even tell you here that many people became toxic during the presidential election because of Peter Obi. Lastly, Daddy Free said, I don't know why the supporters of Peter Obi are even insulting me simply because I said Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is working. If at all they feel he's not working, they should bring their reasons in order we compare and contrast. That's the thing. Are we not tired of talking? Because talking has led us nowhere. We definitely have intelligent people in Nigeria who know how to talk. But where has that led us? I don't know. So, what we are facing is we're trying to build resistance in an already failed system. And I think that is why maybe someone should study the cycle of Nigerians when it comes to their patriotism and their willingness to go for something. Because, yes, people can have their opinions and it's great. And I genuinely think that because of how we talk a lot and how on the youth, the energy, that's the thing. It's like we build so much energy, we build resistance, we build hype, and we almost in a way forget where we are. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Peter Obi is not competent. Neither am I saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not even put in any effort to for us to even feel like he deserved his position. That's why I stand. He did not prove himself to be there. But who said meritocracy works? And who said that in Nigeria's political system, you have to prove yourself to be in your political seat? The country has proven otherwise. People get where they are, not even, let's say, okay, fine, by privilege. They just don't even follow rules. We don't even follow order, let alone, you manipulated your way, right? And so, in this case, that if he's asking for people to come and defend Peter Obi like before, it's not even about defending Peter Obi. I think it's the cycle, right? When it seems like, oh my days. And I think the same cycle, you can have seen it with the NSAS protest. The NSAS in itself definitely was revolutionary in terms of a moment where Nigerians, united. And of course, the NSAS then led to, the massacre, which then led to other things. And then you see how with the lead up of the NSAS and then the massacre, we sort of then lost the essence of the NSAS protest. And then a massacre happened. And then we're focused on the massacre. And then it dies out. There's the back and forth. There's the body that is meant to do this, do that. I think the Nigerian system honestly just tires out its citizens psychologically and mentally. Because I think that's what it is. With Peter Obi's movement, yes, the youth, it's great. And I think that's the play they have over the youths, honestly. Because I don't want to tie... Because now, you don't necessarily see the obedience as strong as before. But it's not an obedience thing. It's the youth thing. It's like a cycle of energy. The government provoke. They do something. Someone in a high position says something. It triggers the youth. The youth, of course, are very vocal. Use social media. We garner up energy, we build it up. We then, it's like a fake organization, not a fake organization, but we are so united. But because we are united doesn't necessarily mean that we are fully organized. We shouldn't mix that up. But we get united in a front where we agree, oh my days, this is not right. We build up so much energy. We get to a peak. That peak point is when something even more provocative happens, aka the massacre that happens at the toll gate. And then it skyrockets. So they do something to literally die out the energy, divide the people, and then it becomes a slow decline of energy. It's like, okay, the failed system, comes to bite, you remember, there's no light, we have no food, we have no this, we have to work, we have to this. Do I really have energy to start doing protests? The bubble is sizzling. It's the same thing with Nnamdi Kanu and his movement. At some point, you really think, oh my days, the dawn is here. We are really about to hit something. But the battle that we're fighting, you see, when we say that our politicians and the system are stupid, they're not. And I think rather than focusing on, it's not an obedient issue. It's an issue where we are basically being played. It's like we're literally being played. We have diminished our position in terms of the power that we have as a people. We have been disrespected so many times where the different systems that make up our body, the constitution, the judicial, our government, they have let us down so many times. Even in our faces, they've literally slapped and spat in our faces as Nigerians. They've gotten away with so many atrocities that at this point, it has emboldened them to even do the worst. So I think in terms of saying the obedience and not saying anything now, that's really not the conversation. And we can't get lost. Again, as I say, the approach that I'm choosing to have is not necessarily to zoom so in that I'm looking at the issue, oh my days, how can Daddy Freeze say that? What I'm doing is to analyze the situation outside of Daddy Freeze, outside of the obedience, and then just, as I say, bird's eye view, look at everything that has happened. Look at the cycles, look at the patterns, look at the behavior of Nigerians, especially when it comes to when we unite. When it seems like we are organized, but we're not really organized. We are just united. And that's good, but it's not enough. And also to confront to address what Daddy Freeze says about, Peter Obi's movement brought out this toxicity. Let me find that statement. What did he say? Yes, he says, I can even tell you that many people became toxic during the presidential election because of Peter Gregory. I think that is the most foolish, unwise, and to a very extent, question if, this individual was blind throughout this whole process. Because in terms of you analyzing what's happening, right, you have even seen, not even Peter Obi, you have seen other parties, the ruling party, incite, provoke hatred, play the religious card, play the tribal card, have manipulated and taken advantage of how the society is already divided, right? Because look at the rivalry between Igbos and Yorubas. Igbos can be president, blah, blah, blah. That then triggered those that already had prejudice and who felt strong hatred towards one another to voice out their opinions, right? People fighting against each other. So saying that there's toxicity and bullying, it's not that. They literally just played on the emotions and the present characteristics of the people. Because it's not like Peter Obi then arrived and then all of a sudden we turned toxic. No. You found out that, yes, people supported Peter Obi. You can support who you are, who you want to support, but your character will always show. People will disagree in arguments online and will start cussing each other out. That's a behavioral pattern. But of course, when people then act out of order, then whoever they're representing gets the blame for it. So it's like making a statement like, Peter Obi brought out toxicity in there. It's not that. We already have bad behavior to begin with. Let's be honest with ourselves. So you can't now say, we are bullies, we are that. Do you know how many people have insulted presidents? I mean, Buhari has even been through it on Twitter. Would you then say, they're not toxic, but then you have found a man who people are united as willing to support? Then, of course, it's easy to label him. So, as I said, there's no point getting emotional about topics and saying Nigeria is da. How can I free say that? No. We don't take things personally. We grow out of them and we actually analyze outside of our emotions and feelings. Put what you think about this in the comment section below and don't forget to like and subscribe.